welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're getting into something really interesting for English fluency. Actually training your brain to think in English.
Yeah.
We've all heard people who just switch effortlessly, right? They sound natural, respond fast. They just seem to get it without that awkward translation pause. That's the goal today.
Exactly. It's about moving past that constant mental back and forth. For a lot of learners, that translation step is, well, it's a drag. It slows you down, leads to weird phrasing sometimes. So our aim here is to give you some real practical ways to start thinking in English. It genuinely helps you respond faster, make fewer mistakes, and just sound more like yourself in English.
And that's key. It's not just for the super advanced folks either, right?
Yeah.
This applies across the board.
Absolutely. Beginners, intermediate, advanced, everyone can start doing this at their own level.
Okay. So the mission for this deep dive, give you actionable techniques, help you think in English, get more fluent, feel more confident. Let's dig in. Why does this matter so much? Why bother thinking in English?
Well, think about what's happening when you translate. You hear something or you want to say something. First, it goes through your native language filter, then you translate to English, then you speak.
Right. It's like a three-step process.
It is. Thinking directly in English. It just cuts out that middle step. You hear English, you think English, you speak English, and, just removing that layer makes your speaking noticeably faster.
Okay, so speed is a big one, like taking a mental shortcut. Is it just about speed, though?
Oh, definitely not. Speed's great, but there's more. When you start thinking in English, you begin to pick up on the language's nuances more intuitively.
Nuances like
idioms, casual phrases, slang, stuff that often makes zero sense if you try a direct word-for-word translation.
Yeah, like translating a pun. Never works.
Exactly. Falls flat. By thinking in English, you start to understand the feeling behind these expressions, the context, and use them correctly. It sounds much more natural.
Okay, that makes sense, getting the spirit of it.
Precisely. And it also helps you internalize English sentence structures, how words fit together. It's different from just memorizing grammar rules from your native language perspective. You develop a feel for what sounds right.
So less like following a textbook rule and more like just knowing.
Huh?
An instinct.
Sort of, yeah. An instinct built through practice. And this internal practice, thinking things through in English, it does wonders for confidence.
How so?
Because you're essentially rehearsing in your head in a safe space. You formulate thoughts, maybe stumble a bit mentally, but nobody knows. So when you actually need to speak, it feels less daunting. The words are closer to the surface.
Like a mental warm-up. Prepares you for the real thing.
Exactly like that. And it's not just speaking. Thinking in English actually improves your listening too.
Really? How does that work?
Well, if your brain is already tuned to English, you're processing what you hear directly. You're not mentally translating back into your native language as someone speaks. You catch more faster.
Okay. So it benefits both sides of the conversation, speaking and listening.
Absolutely. It's a huge part of developing what you might call a fluent English mindset. The more you do it, even just inside your head, the more natural the whole thing feels.
Okay, I'm sold on the why. It sounds incredibly valuable, but, I can imagine listeners thinking, yeah, but is this really for me? Especially if I'm just starting out. Let's tackle some common myths.
Good idea, because there are definitely some roadblocks people put up for themselves. The biggest one, that thinking in English is only for, super advanced speakers.
Right, like you need a PhD level vocabulary first.
Yeah, exactly. People think they need perfect grammar, tons of words, but honestly, anyone can start small. Right now, even with basic stuff.
How basic?
Like instead of thinking the phrase for I am hungry in your language, just think I'm hungry in English. Use the English words you do know, even if it's just a few simple sentences.
So start where you are, use what you've got.
Precisely. Don't wait for perfect. Another big one. I need to live in the US or the UK to do this.
Yeah, the immersion argument. You have to be surrounded 24/7.
And look, immersion helps, no doubt, but it's absolutely not required. You can create your own little English world wherever you are. Think about it: online videos, podcasts, like this one.
Right.
Music, labeling things in your house. Sticky notes are your friend. You can build an environment that prompts English thoughts.
Okay, so you can DIY your immersion to some extent.
Yeah.
What about mistakes? People worry about messing up, even in their own heads.
That's a common fear. If I think it wrong, I'll learn it wrong. But making mistakes while you're thinking, it's totally fine. Actually, it's part of learning. The goal isn't perfect internal sentences right away. It's just forming thoughts in English. Practice.
It's like a safe sandbox for your brain. No judgment.
Exactly. Then there's the fear sometimes that focusing on English will make you forget your native language.
Oh, interesting. Is that a real risk?
Honestly,
Yeah.
no. Our brains are amazing at handling multiple languages. Thinking in English strengthens your language skills overall. It can even make you better at switching between languages. It's not like pushing one out to make room for another.
That's really reassuring. It's additive, not subtractive.
Totally. And finally, some people just think, ugh, it sounds too hard, too unnatural. And okay, yes, it will feel a bit weird at first, like any new habit.
Sure. Learning to ride a bike felt weird at first.
Right. But you stick with it, you practice consistently, and it gets easier, becomes second nature. Patience is key.
Okay, so let those myths go. Start simple. You don't need to move abroad. Mistakes are fine. You won't forget your first language. And yes, it takes practice.
Yeah.
Got it. So let's get practical. What can people actually do starting today?
Okay, practical techniques. Let's start super simple. Labeling. Grab some sticky notes. Write the English names of things around you, chair, window, mirror, laptop, whatever. Stick them on.
So you see the object, you see the English word. Direct link.
Exactly. It bypasses that translation step for everyday things. Builds direct association. Another one. Narrate your day. Silently. To yourself.
Like a running commentary.
Yeah, pretty much. Okay, I'm making coffee now. I need to send that email.
Yeah.
I'm walking to the bus stop. Simple sentences about what you're doing in English. It gets you forming sentences about familiar things.
I like that. Your own internal English soundtrack.
Exactly. And related to that, have little conversations with yourself in your head.
Okay, talking to yourself. Might feel a bit odd.
Maybe at first, but it's great practice. See something interesting, a bird, a funny sign. Think about it in English. Wow, that bird is singing loudly. Wonder what kind it is. Or plan your next step. Okay, after this, I need to go to the shop.
Okay, internal monologue practice. Got it. What else?
Vocabulary building. Use flashcards, apps, whatever works for you. But here's the key. When you learn a new word, like delicious, consciously use it in your thoughts soon after.
Don't just memorize it. Activate it mentally.
Right. Think, this coffee is delicious. Or that was a delicious meal. Actively weave new words into your internal English.
Makes sense.
Journaling. Even just 2 or 3 sentences a day. Write about what you did, how you felt, something interesting you saw. All in English. Great for practice and improves writing too.
Double win. Consolidate thoughts and practice writing.
Definitely. And then there's immersion, movies, podcasts, books in English. But don't just passively consume. Think about it in English.
How do you mean?
Like pause a movie and think, okay, what would I say in that situation? Or hear a phrase in a podcast and think, what does that really mean? How else could I say that? Engage with it mentally in English.
Be an active mental participant, not just a passive listener or watcher.
Exactly. Music works too. Listen to English songs. Really focus on the lyrics. Try singing along. It's fun. You learn words. You get a feel for the rhythm.
Yeah, singing along is great for pronunciation too, the flow.
Absolutely.
Right.
And one more, maybe for slightly more advanced learners, shadowing.
Shadowing.
Yeah, you listen to a native speaker, maybe from a podcast or video, and you try to repeat what they're saying as they're saying it real time, mimicking their intonation, speed, everything.
Wow, that sounds intense.
It can be, but it's powerful for training that rapid response, that natural flow. Start with short bits. The main thing with all these techniques, find 1 or 2 that click for you. Don't try to do everything at once.
Right, pick something manageable.
And then be consistent. Little bit every day is way better than a huge effort once a week.
Small steps, consistently. Got it. Okay, these are great practical ideas. But we know it's not always smooth sailing. People hit roadblocks. What are some common challenges and how do you push through them?
Yeah, roadblocks happen. Probably the most common one is just getting stuck. You're thinking in English and suddenly you hit a word you don't know. Blank.
Ugh, yeah. That kills the flow. Very frustrating.
It really can be. The key is don't panic. Don't just stop or switch back to your native language immediately. Try to think around the word. Simplify.
Like, if I don't know, magnificent.
Exactly. You can't think of magnificent, think very beautiful or really nice or looks great. Use simpler words you do know to express the basic idea. Keep the English thought going.
Okay, prioritize keeping the flow in English, even if it's simpler.
Yes. Don't let one word derail you. Another challenge. Overthinking. Trying to make every single sentence in your head grammatically perfect.
The internal perfectionist.
Right, but remember, it's just thinking. Nobody hears it. It doesn't need to be flawless. Give yourself permission to make mental mistakes. It's okay.
Good reminder, it's practice, not performance.
Exactly. And related to that, sometimes you realize you made a mistake in your head. Use the wrong tense or word. Don't beat yourself up.
What should you do instead?
Just notice it. Mentally correct it if you can. Should have said went, not go. And move on. Treat it as a quick little self-correction, a mini lesson. That's how you learn.
Turn mistakes into learning moments, even mental ones.
Precisely. We touched on this briefly with misconceptions, but the fear of losing your native language can still be a hurdle for some. Just keep reminding yourself, English adds, it doesn't subtract. Your first language is safe.
Reassurance is key there.
It is. Then there's the I'm too busy problem.
Yeah.
Life gets hectic.
Always. Finding dedicated thinking time seems hard.
It can be, so don't aim for dedicated time if you can't find it. Use the gaps, commuting, waiting in line, doing chores like washing dishes. Use those little moments to switch your internal monologue to English. 5 minutes here, 10 minutes there adds up.
Sneak it into the cracks of the day.
Exactly. Lack of consistency is another big one. People start strong, then it fades.
Happens with lots of habits.
It does. The solution: set tiny, achievable goals. Seriously small, like, I will think in English while I brush my teeth. Or I will describe my breakfast to myself in English. Just 5 minutes a day consistently is powerful.
Make it so easy you can't say no.
Pretty much. And finally, people often forget to sort of pat themselves on the back. They focus only on what they can't do yet.
Celebrating the small wins.
Yes. Did you manage to think in English for a whole minute without switching back? Did you use that new word you learned? Acknowledge it, feel good about it. That positive feedback loop is crucial for motivation.
Absolutely. Patience, persistence, positivity. That seems to be the core message for overcoming these things.
It really is. It's a journey, not a race.
Now, to really drive home that this is possible, maybe share a couple of real-life examples, stories of people who actually did this.
Sure. I know of a woman originally from Brazil. She found it incredibly hard initially to think in anything but Portuguese. It felt totally unnatural.
Okay, so she was starting from that this feels weird place.
Exactly. But she decided to try small things. She started writing her grocery lists only in English. Simple words. And before bed, she tried to mentally recap her day, just a few sentences in English.
Little consistent actions.
Yes. And she said after a few months of doing just those small things consistently, she started noticing. English thoughts would just pop into her head sometimes, spontaneously. It started becoming more automatic.
Wow, that's really encouraging. Sure, those tiny steps really do build up.
They really do. Another story. A man from India working in a factory. He wanted better job opportunities. New English was key. So he started narrating his work tasks to himself, silently.
Like the technique we talked about earlier.
Exactly. I am packing this box now. I need to clean this machine. This part looks okay. Constantly, throughout his shift.
It takes discipline.
It does. But he stuck with it. And through that consistent mental practice, his fluency improved dramatically. He eventually got promoted, moved into management in a multinational company where English was essential.
That's fantastic. What these stories really show, I think, is that you don't need fancy courses or to live abroad. It's about finding creative ways to practice and just sticking with it. Persistence.
That's absolutely the takeaway. Creativity and persistence are huge. And, there are tons of online communities now, too. Forums, groups, where learners support each other. You don't have to feel alone in this.
Yeah, finding support is great. And remembering, it's okay if it feels hard sometimes. Everyone struggles. It's just part of learning anything new.
Exactly. Keep track of your small wins. Trust the process.
And if you feel stuck, maybe just remind yourself why you started learning English in the first place.
That's a great point. Reconnect with your motivation. Is it for work, travel, talking to new friends, connecting with family? Holding on to that why can really fuel you through the tough spots.
So bottom line for everyone listening, others have done this. You can too. Start small, be consistent, forgive the mistakes. Thinking in English, it's a skill. And like any skill, it gets better with practice.
Well put. Believe you can do it. Put in the consistent effort, and it will become more natural. It's a really rewarding stage of the journey.
Okay, so let's wrap up this deep dive. Key takeaway. Thinking in English, it's powerful, it's achievable, and it really boosts your fluency. It takes practice, the right mindset, but you can absolutely get there.
That's right. We talked about why it's so important, the speed, the naturalness, the confidence. We busted some myths holding people back. We gave you practical techniques, labeling, narrating, journaling, using music, and we talked about overcoming those common hurdles.
So a few final thoughts to send you off with. Set that tiny daily goal. 5 minutes maybe. Use flashcards or apps, but actively think with the new words. Try narrating something simple you do every day.
And please, be kind to yourself. Mistakes in your head. Totally normal. Just keep going.
Acknowledge your progress, however small it feels. Every little bit counts. Remember your why.
Exactly. And remember, your journey is unique. Don't compare yourself constantly to others. Focus on your own progress. Trust that consistent effort pays off.
Thanks so much for joining us for this deep dive. We really hope this gives you some concrete ideas and the motivation to start training your brain to think in English. So here's the final thought for you. What's just one small thing you could do today to think in English? Maybe label one object right now.